Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final. Runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right. Let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, we have one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger. Let's see. What we got? A tricycle. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tail dragger. Down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here. You cleared land on 9 all the way to the white dot. Go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Kennard, just come to the runway, and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern, or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, and let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Kennard's going to have to go around. Kennard, go around. Kennard, go around. Kennard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the down ones. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Kennard?
Yeah, Kennard.
All right, Kennard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Kennard's got the jet in tight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around.
Yeah, follow.
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Three, two, one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, team. Are we all ready for tonight's live stream? I believe there's something going on Mars, and I did try and work out the technology for at the same time. I can kind of replace myself with a Mars guy, but I can't quite get any sound. And as far as I can figure out, there's some delay or something. So anyway, let me know if you can figure that one out. What have we got for you tonight? Well, we've got Simon Keeling, who's not with us in person, but he's left us a good little recording talking about the weather. There's a whole ton of stories in news, including a drone story that had me tripping over my jaw after I read it. You couldn't make it up, really. You couldn't make it up. We're going to talk to Mark Greenfield, who wrote the getting back into the groove feature in the current issue of Flyer. We're going to give him the right stuff quiz, but because he's clearly going to have the right stuff, we've changed it a bit. We're going to have the wrong stuff for Mark, which will just kind of put him on his toes, make him work a little bit. Then we're going to, what else are we going to do? Yeah, we got Fantasy Hangar and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So anyway, that said, I think it is probably time that I find my mouse, I find my way over, and I deliver Simon Keeling to you. Here you go with Simon's weather.
Good evening, everybody. Simon here. Yeah, I'm not live with you this evening. I'm actually at an airfield, and that is an aircraft. Just in case you've forgotten what they look like. Look, it's all legit that I'm here. I'm here on business. Also, COVID's secure, so I'm not being a naughty boy, honestly. I am allowed to be here. Great radar picture from earlier on today. I'll put this out on social media. Some of you may have seen it. The cold front going eastwards through the country. We've got heavy rain associated with the cold front. Then we got a dry spell behind that cold front. And then we had showers following in behind. Just brilliant to see that in action. We talk about it a lot at weather school. Now, as far as the weekend weather's concerned, if you're lucky enough to be able to fly this weekend, this is how Saturday is looking. I'm afraid it's not looking brilliant. We've got lots of rain around, we've got wind, we've got cloud. That rain pushing its way northwards associated with the fronts that you can see. I think they're going to be affecting most parts of the country. Only northern Scotland escaping from that. So I've got to be honest, Saturday not looking a brilliant day. If the rain doesn't get you, the wind certainly will. Sunday's a bit of a different story. Got that weak front line through northern England, down through the Midlands, Wales and southern England. Bit of uncertainty over exactly where that is. I think it brings lots of low cloud, murk, drizzle with it. So non-flyable, I think, along there. But to the far southeast, East Anglia, southeast England, looking better there. In the afternoon on Sunday, we may get bases perhaps getting up to around 2,500 to 3,000 feet during the course of Sunday afternoon across the southeast of England. Isn't it great just to hear the sound of aircraft again? Also, Scotland and Ireland look as if they improve as well as we go into the afternoon. So if you are able to fly, have a good one. Don't forget that Aviation Weather School is back on the 17th and the 24th of April. Book your place now at weatherschool.co.uk. But whatever you're doing, have a great weekend. I'll see you live next week. Bye for now.
I have to say, I quite enjoyed watching aeroplanes fly in one ear of Simon's and out the other.
I think he was rocking the born again biker look there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well done, Simon. Thank you very much. Okay, well, we'll see you next week. I think it's time to press on to the news, for which we're going to have Dave Calderwood delivering us some news. Dave, over to you.
Well, it's a busy news desk this week. So in the news, we start off with a reminder that there are 10 days left to buy an electronic conspicuity device before the end of February and get your rebate application in before the end of March. There's quite a bit of money still out there. We asked the CAA for some figures about how the rebate scheme is going, and they sent back a little chart showing that Sky Echo is the number one device that's being bought and claimed for. Pilot Aware is second, and then the numbers run down a bit. This is actually quite an old chart. You're looking at the date, that's 13th of January. At that point, around about 1,400 and something units have been sold, which amounts to £372,000 worth of grant. Since the CAA had 2.5 million set aside for it, there's still a bunch of money to be had there. You have any idea of how the figures are going at the moment, Ian?
No. I did when we released that story, which was I think yesterday. Was it Tuesday that story came out? On Tuesday that story came out. I spoke to a couple of people who are in the business of retailing units at the moment, and they everyone I spoke to looked at the numbers, said, "Oh, I think they would have gone up since then." So I popped in another Freedom of Information request to the CAA, and hopefully they'll be sending the figures to us very shortly. In which case, we'll share them with everyone else there. But I suspect they would have changed quite significantly.
Yeah, and hopefully, if there's money left in the pot, then they'll extend the scheme.
Yeah, so there's a bit of confusion over this. So basically, you have to have bought it by the 28th of February, and then you've got until the end of March in order to apply for it. So don't hang around just in case the CA don't extend the scheme. And to be honest, it's a CA. I'm not sure that's within the CA bailiwick anyway. I mean, they're just administering the scheme for the DFT. So hopefully the DFT will do the right thing and extend it and encourage more people to equip with EC, which would be a good thing. Very good thing.
Yep.
Yes.
So.
Not a good thing. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, it's all right. Carry on. I'll come back to that quick later.
He's still going.
Not a good thing is what's happening at Coventry Airport, which announced this week it's going to be replaced by what's called a gigafactory, which is a place where they produce batteries for electric vehicles. Now, clearly, it's in a good location for this because Coventry Airport is in that bit of the West Midlands where all the car factories are, the ones we've got left, and so they're going to. You can see where the runway used to be. It's that big yellow stripe, and they're going to. It's a pretty much a done deal by the looks of it. The West Midlands various authorities are very keen on it because it's employment and it will help their local motor industry. And the owner of the airport, Regional City Airports, RCA, they said that yes, it's a good deal. They're going to take part in it. There's just a bit of planning permission to go through, but unfortunately, it looks like a done deal.
It's outrageous, really. I think, and I'd like to think that, given that our Secretary of State for Transport stood up and said that he wanted to make the UK a great place for GA, and that we shouldn't lose airfields, that he does something to maybe make a more suitable general aviation airfield somewhere around Coventry, make that possible.
Yeah, there's one just down the road. There's one just down the road. Place called Wellesbourne. It's a lovely airfield, and it's still operational. And just step in there, Grant, and make sure that happens.
That's it. Though I do like the factory. If you look at the illustration, they've left runway 23. The number's still there, and there's no X on the runway. So I reckon anyone with something that can land fairly short, that's an open invite, isn't it?
Maybe to microlight pilots only. I don't think we'd fit in.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's one way in and no going around, I think. Yeah. Anyway, a bit of good news on airfields is that Athens Moor Airfield, which I must admit I'd never heard of until just a few minutes ago, in Northumberland, has just been granted full planning permission for more flying on a permanent basis.
Yay.
Good.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. We'll take that.
Okay, moving on. Do you know what a PAD is? A PAD, the CAA, a PAD, PAD. The CAA and EASA are going to issue their own PAD, and this is the proposed airworthiness directive for the Piper PA28 and PA32 wing spar issue. Apparently, because of the way the FAA, who has issued the original AD, the way that the FAA measures ours and calculates a load factor doesn't really work in the UK and Europe. So we're going to work out our own. It's still the same basic thing. You have to have the wing bolts pulled out gently, carefully, because apparently that's quite difficult, and it takes a bit of time. And then you have to have the wing bolt holes tested with this eddy current machine, which does a sort of scan and shows up any cracks. If you have cracks, new wing spar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nobody likes a crack.
Nobody likes a crack, and nobody likes what happened at Goodwood in 2019 at the Festival of Speed. This is the reference to the Air Accident Investigation Branch, They've just issued a report on the incident that happened there. This was when an airspeeder drone, this is it here, it's 3 meters long, weighs 95 kilograms. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. It was giving a demo in front of some VIPs, and unfortunately, the operator, the pilot, lost control. Well, didn't exactly lose control of it. The thing decided not to obey orders. It then powered up full speed to 8,000 feet into controlled airspace, and actually where there's a holding point for airliners flying into Gatwick.
Unbelievable.
You couldn't make this up, really. You really couldn't make this up. Then it ran out of power, fell to the ground, plummeted is the word I used, plummeted to the ground and smashed itself to a number of bits. Fortunately, it didn't hurt. No one was hurt. It landed in a field.
But it was only 75 meters from a house or something?
Yes. And in the AIB report, they make which is highly critical, I have to say, of both the airspeeder operators and also the CAA for the way they handled the authorization of the event. But the AIB make the point that if the wind had been stronger at the altitude, 8,000 feet, and blew it just a little bit further southwest, it would have come down in Chichester. And that would have anyway.
It's not good.
Doesn't bear thinking about.
I've got to say, it's one of the best AIB reports I've read. They've done a fantastic job of investigating this and putting it together and making a really good video. I know Ian's got some thoughts on this.
Well, I read the report this morning, and the more I read, the more I just became completely astounded by it. There was no reading between the line skills required whatsoever. I mean, there was initial examination of the circuit boards revealed some concerns regarding build quality and workmanship. The boards were populated with hobbyist components. All the assemblies failed an evaluation against IPC A610, whatever that is. The CA did not meet with the operator or inspect the aircraft. The CA went along and were advised that they wouldn't be able to view the aircraft prior to the demonstration flight. They were directed to the hospitality area, which they agreed to, so as to not prevent the operators who were concentrating on their pre-flight checks. And I quote from the AIB, had a structured inspection of the unmanned aerial system prior to flight being carried out, it could have easily identified that the unmanned aircraft could not meet the requirements of the exemption. I mean, there is some pretty strong stuff going on there, and I think I'm gonna just briefly go a little bit off piste and bring in Mr. Greenfield, who's Goodwood based and who may or may not know anything, and he may or may not choose to tell us anything. So we'll bring him in slightly just ahead of time so he doesn't get lonely. Are you awake in there, Mark?
Certainly am, Ian.
Anything to add on the Goodwood drone?
I read the report in great detail today as well. AIB obviously made a lot of, as you said, non-reading between the lines required observations. The big thing that I'd point out, I think, is what a good job the team at Goodwood did once the drone had gone AWOL, because you had all these people outside. You had a rogue drone, for want of a better description, which could come down and hit anybody, any stage. So they got everybody off the roof into the building. They notified air traffic. They notified NATS. And I think they did a pretty good job looking out for it, thinking, what the hell is going on here?
I mean, I think it's, we spoke last week about these temporary danger areas where they're running drones and to make sure they're not close to anyone. And these are much smaller drones. This was a 95-kilo mother of a drone.
It's a huge thing, yeah.
Effectively a public event with many people around in I don't know, with the benefit of hindsight. I mean, I think it's really good that nobody got hurt whatsoever, and that has given us the chance to shine the light on the kind of drone ops and some of the planning and the inspections, or the lack of inspections and everything else. Because frankly, we could have been in a world of pain had that gone differently.
Well, that was it. That vehicle had an approval. The CAA had approved it to fly at the Festival of Speed, which is an event that's got thousands of people at it, hasn't it? So
not tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Yeah.
Yeah.
How this can, I'm not this surely must mean a significant change to both the drone industry and the way the CEA handles the approval of drones and stuff like that. I mean, nobody can be coming out of this proud of what's happened. And everyone needs to learn the lessons and move forwards.
Yeah, and I've got to ask, even though it's pilotless, someone's surely going to be on the hook for infringing airspace.
So the drone enforcement course.
Well, either that, or we've just come up with the greatest wheeze for the next time any of us gets an infringement letter. You just go, "No, I was hands off. The aeroplane was flying itself."
I love the way you said "next time," Ed, like it's a frequent occurrence.
That's it, yeah. And if they go, "Where's your kill switch?" I'll go, "Oh, I had it here. It was just not plugged in."
I think if you haven't seen the report yet, it's well worth going to have a look at the report and looking at the kill switch was effectively like a wire hanging out of a USB dongle. It's just like
unbelievable. Someone said someone saying send the drone on the Gasco course.
Yeah.
Where is it? There we go. Ed Ludlow says send drone Gasco course.
Yeah. If you've not read it, you can. We've shared it on Facebook and Twitter, so go and check it out after the live stream.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right, I'm going to remove you now, Mark. We'll be back and see you later, as you were.
Right.
Sorry. Moving
back
on
to the news and talking about airspace. Earlier this week, a bunch of 5 aviation organisations came together to make a call for a good look, a redesign of the whole airspace, the airspace of the future, as they called it. They made the point that with the UK out of EASA, now we're under lockdown and the pandemic affecting aircraft movements. Now it's a good time to have a good look at UK airspace and rework it into something that really works. I talked to a guy called John Turner from the Air Pilots, Honourable Company of Air Pilots, which is one of those 5 organisations mentioned. And John, who's a former test pilot, he's a display director at the Farnborough Air Show, an all-round, well-known good egg. And he made the point that the current airspace is run using 1950s ideas, 1950s technology, and it's based on 1950s levels of traffic. And we need to get away from that. We need to get away from segregating airspace, airports taking up big chunks of airspace, drones taking up temporary danger zones and so on. We need to get away from segregating airspace and integrating so everybody can use it safely. And obviously this is using some technology. The consortium of associations have not yet identified the technology that they prefer, but John did mention ADSB.
I mean, I think there's no getting away from the fact that the airspace that we've got is the result of many hundreds of iterations and changes and little bits here and tweaks there and taking away bits here and putting in fillets there and as no doubt the airspace regulators will be saying at the top of their voice if they're listening to this now, yes, but we've done it like that because we had complaints from this organization. We tried to make it small. That's why it's. But regardless, the place we are at the moment, people need to hold out their hand. You know what? The UK airspace is like a rancid dog's dinner at the moment, and we just need to come. It does. It is. I mean, there's no. We've created this unbelievably complex, interwoven, multi-ANSP structured, layered thing that's really kind of, I suspect, held together with little bits of sticky tape at the side, and it just needs. I say it just needs, and I don't underestimate the huge work that's going to take. But it now is a great time to simplify and structure something suitable for the next century.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the various people involved, all the various airspace owners are not going to. I've always thought it would be nice if you could have one airspace czar and you could wipe it all clear, and you go, right, we're just going to start repopulating everything on an appropriate basis.
We don't need to reinvent the wheel here, though, do we? I mean, if you just take a look across the Atlantic to the States, we've flown there, and it kind of works, doesn't it? You can. It works very well, and it's not hard. People can fly into. I remember flying in with Ian. We flew in a little Cessna into Orlando International once, And nobody blinked an eye except me. I was blinking like heck. But
undoubtedly, there'll be people going, yeah, but they got loads of space in America. Yeah, but it's different. And yeah, they have got loads of space in some places. There's plenty of places where they don't have loads of space. Plenty of places where they don't have great weather. But the difference is they do have a joined up system, and it is better funded than our system, our disjointed system. But I still insist that the biggest difference between the US or France or Germany and the UK is one of attitude. That you can just do things there, and someone sets out to find a way to do things. We can do this, and we want to do it. And frankly, we're very used to hearing Secretary of State, various MPs, aviation ministers talk about the UK being the best place in the world for general aviation. Well, this airspace is a huge, huge, huge part of that, and that does need fixing.
Yeah,
that's not a rant. It just everyone knows it needs fixing. It just needs fixing. So
interesting question. Mike Philpott says, easy answer: charge owners for their airspace.
I suspect that might lead us down a path we don't want to go down.
Yes.
Right. Well, talking about airspace that is not complicated. Truro Airport, as the operator there is a chap called Graham Barrell. And he's a self-confessed flyer reader since issue 1, apparently. Anyway, he's asking for the support of pilots. He's asking for the support of pilots for his planning application to build, not on the airfield, but in the field next door. He wants to build holiday log cabins around a little lake like this. And pilots can fly in. It's not just pilots, of course. Anyone can drive there if they want to. But pilots could fly in, park their aircraft, and holiday there. It seems like a very nice thing to do. He needs a bit of support because he may run up against a few planning issues. So it's because it's in a nice green bit of Cornwall. Anyway,
are they fish in that lake?
I don't know. It's at that scale more like sharks, aren't they? That seems like a nice scheme. I think we need more stuff like that in the UK. And
Truro's been on my list to visit for a long time, so I think we all need to get behind that to make it happen.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, and finally, it really is finally, it's the end for the Learjet, the iconic jet brand of one of the first. People say it's the first proper private jet. Not quite sure that's accurate, but Canadian company Bombardier acquired Learjet in 1990, and has since had a few issues of its own. It's sold off everything it's got in the Bombardier cupboard. It sold off its train business, it sold off its airliner business to Airbus, sold off the Dash 8 business to a newly formed de Havilland company in Canada. It hasn't got anything left apart from Learjet, Challenger, and Global BizJets. Anyway, having sold everything, it's still got $10 billion worth of debt, and it's decided it has to close Learjet.
Sad time.
Yeah.
Well.
I did offer some consultancy advice. Just look at the way Fiat handle Ferrari. Ferrari is a premium brand, all about speed, power, and prestige. And I think that's what they should do with Learjet. But for some reason, they haven't taken me up.
Never mind.
No.
Cool.
So that's the end of the news. Now it's time for the Right Stuff quiz. Over to you, Ed.
Aha.
So who have we got? Mark Greenfield. Whoops.
Aha.
Sorry. A different.
You did my bit. You were meant to play the video.
I was meant to play the video. Let me just rearrange this here. Where are we going? Mark, are you ready for the Right Stuff quiz, which for you is going to be the Wrong Stuff quiz?
Hit me with it, fella.
Right. That quiz intro always sounds too sinister.
Good.
So Mark, we've decided. You're on here to take the right stuff quiz questions. Only today, Ian has decided that as you probably got some right stuff, he would challenge you by throwing in some wrong stuff questions too. So, Ian, are you ready with the countdown timer?
I'm ready with the countdown timer
and your score sheet. I see you out with your pen.
And my score sheet and my pen.
And your pen. Okay, it's good. Ian's going to start when I read the first question. And here we go. So, Buzz Lightyear or Emperor Zurg?
Clearly Buzz.
It's the wrong stuff.
Oh, it's the wrong stuff. Oh, Zurg. Yes, sorry, I've got to do the wrong stuff.
Loop the Loop or Stunt Pilot? Brackets, which is worse?
Oh, Stunt Pilot.
Outside Loop or being seen flying a nose wheel maul?
Outside Loop.
High wing or low wing?
Low wing.
Norther or Tranca? Oh no. Have we run out of time already?
Excellent. What a blow.
Yes, half 50% through the questions. Oh dear. We didn't even get to Slingsby or Bulldog.
Oh, that would be a tough one.
Yeah, yeah. You probably like both.
Yeah, but they're very different, but both most excellent.
Excellent. Ian, what was the?
Well,
I hesitate to ask what the score was.
I hesitate to. I suppose in a way, Mark has scored the lowest score that we've ever had on here, and I suppose given that it's the wrong stuff quiz, he's probably not too worried about that.
Got to be happy with that.
Triumphed.
But Mark has a score of 25%, which I think when we finally start to get a proper scoreboard for this, we may just put that up as right stuff instead. just to wind him up. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Ian. How are you, fella?
I'm fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for that fine feature you wrote in the current issue. Let's have a quick chat about that first.
Okay.
Let's have a serious chat about that first, as it were, before we move on to the less serious stuff. A bunch of us haven't been flying for ages. Hopefully, maybe even next week, although I doubt it, we might go flying again. What's the best way to handle that? Give us your top 3 tips.
I think the big thing is to recognise the fact, yes, it's going to be great getting airborne again. Yes, we're looking forward to it, but we're going to be rusty. And I think you've got to recognise that. You've got to recognise the fact you're going to be nowhere near as good. None of us is going to be as good as we were when we last flew. So I think the thing number 1 is to be aware of that. Thing number 2 is to prepare as much as possible. I typically advocate people sit down the day before they go flying, figure out what they're going to do, pick up something quite easy as a task. Don't do a 500-mile cross country on your first trip back, and go through the whole thing: power settings, speeds, heights, attitudes, trim, what you're going to do, make the radio calls out loud. And then when you go flying, focus on safety. Have your eyes out of the cockpit. Make sure that focus on safety rather than flying incredibly accurately. You've got to be moderately accurate, but I'd rather have eyes out of the cockpit than be within 1 degree or 5 feet, and be prepared for the fact that you're going to be distracted. You've got to focus on what you're doing. Don't be thinking about your post-flight Knickerbocker glory. You've got to focus on making sure that you're really on your game, and recognize the fact that lots of other people are going to be rusty as well, including possibly the guys in air traffic. It's I think treat it like everyone else out there is going to try and get you, and they will get you unless you actively prevent them from so doing.
I have to say, I'm quite lucky in as much as up until now, I haven't really had too many layoffs from flying. But those times when I have, the thing that I've noticed the most is I kind of like to think of it as a very small capacity bucket that fills up quickly, and it tends to get filled up more quickly the less current I am.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case.
Once it starts overflowing, then there are other bits and pieces that start to suffer.
And to that end, if you're in the circuit and you're working hard and you're becoming a passenger and you're an airplane, as we mentioned in the article, then just get out of the circuit, go into local air, get your breath back, empty your capacity bucket, think about how you're going to get back in, and do everything in slow time.
One of the things I quite like about flying in the States, I've never really heard it used over here, but I guess there's no reason not to. Particularly if you're in receipt of a service and everything's going full speed and calls all over the place, and you're being told to do. I've heard a guy go, I need some delaying vectors, please, and the air traffic just point you in a direction where you're not going to do any harm, and you go, right, I can get my head back together now. Right, okay, give us another go at that, and put me back.
But isn't that just brilliant self-awareness? That's what we were talking about at the beginning. Only we know how much capacity we have. I was at Goodwood this week, and a guy came on air traffic. I won't say what he said, but he's basically saying, "I'm maxed out. Can you help me, please?" And that was the right thing to do. As we were saying in the article, don't be afraid if you're not sure to ask a question, because it's a lot more embarrassing if you completely get things wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Well, just a reminder for everyone that you can actually go and read that article free of charge on Issue. There are plenty of links everywhere else, and you get a better deal out of the whole magazine, including landing fees, if you join the club. So join the club, and other reasons to join the club later. Right. Apart from that, and the very good work that it is that people will undoubtedly benefit from, I've heard it said that you're also a bit of a media tart. I don't think that's true.
I believe you said media something else the last time we talked, but I'll take media tart.
Okay, I don't believe that's true at all. But I do believe you've flown the odd celebrity in your time at Ultimate High. And I've got a little video taster of that I'd just like to play for those who haven't seen it already.
Could you break the wings off that if you wanted to?
No, you cannot break the airplane in the sky. That's not a challenge. I'm just saying the limiting factor when we go flying is going to be you. Now, like me, you're a bloke, and therefore, by definition, have a pathetic, fragile male ego. Any stage, if you feel uncomfortable, this is the key phrase. I want you to practice it. Mark, I'd like a rest. Can you say that?
Mark,
please?
I'd like a rest.
Brilliant. Congratulations. That's the hardest part of the flight.
Mark, I'd like a
That's
rest.
the hardest part of the flight.
Mark, I've had enough. Was it that, or was it something else?
He shows him what his plane can really do. Check. 45. Check. Punch. Oh, yes. Tumble.
It's a long time since I've thrown up, but I know what the feeling is. Oh, no. No, don't now. No, I've been through all of that. Oh, I was nearly reaching for the sick bag. But I had a word with myself, Martin. Pull yourself together. Pull yourself together, Martin.
So, what did it? Was it as much fun as it looked, or was that all in the end?
It was a huge amount of fun. I've flown with Guy 7 or 8 times now. In fact, we did some training with him before the last lockdown, teaching him to fly air combat for a project which will be airing hopefully in the next couple of months, which I can't say any more about than that. But it's always a pleasure to fly with people who actually listen. A lot of TV people, a lot of media people we fly with are there to make a program, and to be honest, their focus is not learning how to fly. Guy was very different. Guy was actually genuinely interested in what we were doing and what we were trying to achieve, and top bloke. And everything you see about that guy on TV is exactly like that in real life. Top man.
Wow. So was he sick?
No, he wasn't. A little bit close.
Okay. So if Guy's a top man, which I can believe, I can see that. Who are the celebs you've flown with who are not top people?
Well, I'm not really sure I can say that. There's been a number of people who you might expect from their media persona to be incredibly roughy-tufty. And, well, I can mention, for example, the Stig didn't really enjoy flying airplanes very much at all, a lot stronger in cars than he was in airplanes. And I think Steve Backshall, we were supposed to do 2 trips together, and he refused to get back in the airplane for the second trip. So we had to find a stunt body double for him.
So did you get to go driving with the Stig as well, or did you just get to
I didn't go driving with the Stig, but we have done lots of racing driver pilot exchanges, which was always fun, entertaining, because I think, obviously we've all done a little bit of driving. We all probably fancy ourselves as a bit of a racing driver, and it's not the foreign environment being in a racing car that it is for a racing driver being in an unlimited category aerobatic airplane. So every time I've done it, we've flown first and then we've driven, and the driver has always done their best to scare the bejesus out of me. But I've always been saying again, well, you're not going to kill yourself, so yeah, it's a lot faster than we used to. So it's always an interesting competition.
So if you're not gonna tell me who is your worst, are there people you wouldn't relish flying again with?
There is a female presenter who I would not relish flying again with, because her publicist tried to sue me afterwards. That was quite complicated situation. It's all to do with something that was allegedly said in the debrief, which wasn't said at all. But yeah, it can get more interesting than you want it to be.
Did she suggest that the landing wasn't good or something?
No, I think it's tough to sue when it's the truth, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
So Just looking at the drawings you've got on your wall behind you, there's a kind of side of you I didn't realise. How long have you been a spotter for?
Well, my collection of anoraks is in a different room, and it's a lot bigger than this room.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that, Mark. It's been a pleasure having you on. Please hang around for a bit and take the mickey. I think there are a few other bits and pieces I need to take the mickey out of for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Are you sure you don't want to give us any more celeb secrets?
I'm not going to, no.
I think we're right.
I don't want them to stop coming to fly with me.
No, exactly. I think we're right in saying that you've got some involvement in the upcoming Rolls-Royce electric project as well, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a fascinating one on a couple of levels. So the Rolls-Royce Axel project, which I know Flyer has looked at, is looking to break the electric world speed record, and I've got some access to people there. I've been working with a couple of the pilots as a safety advisor. The airplane involved has a whole bunch of interesting flying characteristics, and they are going to run out of charge at some stage. So the whole 140 knot glide and what that looks like is something we've been looking at. But hopefully we'll have something for you guys in the near future on how they're trying to make that work.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
What is the current electric world speed record then?
Say again, Ian?
Does anyone know what the current electric world speed record is?
It's held by Walter X's Electric Extra. I think it's 200 and something. Yeah. And the Rolls-Royce guys are aiming for 300 plus.
Kilometers, miles,
miles per hour.
Miles per hour.
Should be able to do it, I reckon.
Yeah. I think they're reasonably confident. They would never claim to be 100% confident. I think they're reasonably confident.
Cool, great. Yeah. Well, thank you very
Nice.
much. If nothing else, I'm sure you could do it by pointing downhill.
I don't think you're allowed to do that. Excellent stuff. Right then.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We'll send you off to the green room. There we go. Right, so it must be time for Fancy Hanger.
Fancy Hanger.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, in honour of the fact that Learjet has made its last jet, and they were there right at the start and got the executive jet movement pretty much going, we decided we would look at our what are we going for? We're going for our favourite old school executive jet. So these were the guys when it was just early days. So way before Cessna made a billion models of Citation. So who's first?
I think it might be me.
Is it Johnny? Johnny is first.
Right. I've picked the amazing Lockheed Jetstar. For a start, it's got 4 engines because ETOPS is for losers. But interestingly, I did some research, and it wasn't meant to have 4 engines initially. It was meant to be powered by 2 Bristol engines, but the deal ended up falling through. So obviously, because British engines are the best, the Yanks couldn't find anything with enough power, so they had to stick 4 of them on. True story. So they built about 200. It used to carry the president around. So Lyndon Johnson flew around often as vice president and as president. And he used to refer to it as Air Force 1/2 because Excellent. It was so small. And one final quick fact. Elvis used to have, he had a couple, one of which is still at Graceland. So you can go and visit it. And it's called Hound Dog 2.
Nice. Nice. And I've got to say, you've stolen an early lead in this because 2 people have already gone Jetstar.
I think in the forum earlier today, I noticed that Paul Sengupta had taken part in this, and he had also suggested Jetstar. So
yeah, and I think that was the jet that was in Goldfinger in the James Bond movie, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, who's got the next choice?
Dave's the next one.
Dave,
Nice.
what have you got, Dave?
Well, I went for the because it's Learjet. I went for the Learjet 24, which is the follow-up aircraft to the original Learjet, the 23. The 24 was a better aircraft all round with more windows, so it wasn't. It wasn't so dark inside. But look at this; you can just see the form of the aircraft. It's based on a Swiss fighter aircraft called the FFA P16. Yeah, I'd never heard of that before until I looked it up. But it's it just looks like a little fighter aircraft with its tip tanks and shape, and of course it's fast. This actual Learjet 24 is operated by a charter company called Private Fly, and it does a 418 knots apparently cruise speed, goes for 1,430 nautical miles. However, it is quite small inside. It's just 4'11" height, the cabin height. So, for most of us, that's quite a squeeze, and it's only 4 feet across. So for a biz jet, it's on the tiny side.
You probably couldn't even fit a Goodwood drone in it.
Probably not. No. But I mean, I've been in a Learjet, and they just yes, I know. It wasn't mine, unfortunately. But, I've been in a Learjet, and they're great. They're powerful machines and go places.
Adrian Norris says, I watched Clay Lacey flying aerobatics in a Lear 24 at Reno once. Good choice. Clay is he's like the go-to guy for Learjet. He was around when Bill Lear was marketing the aeroplane. And
wasn't Clay the first Lear dealer?
He was, I think so, yeah. And he ran a Lear 23, the one with a little single window, up until really quite recently. So, but of course they all fell foul of the noise, various noise restrictions and stuff. So it's amazing still to see a 24 being operated.
Well, there's hush kits. There's things called hush kits around which have to be fitted.
Yeah. Okay, who's got the next choice? Is it Ian?
It's me. I've gone really, really classic here. I haven't gone kind of wacky and wild out. I've got something that kind of looks possible, and it's French. It's called the Paris Jet. It's by Marine Saunier. Does a couple of engines, 350 odd miles an hour, low level, half a decent range if you can get it high enough. Kind of like it was advertised as the kind of flying thing, so you just sit in there comfortably. So you want to be able to wear your Homburg while you're flying. Look at the amount of glass, the view you get out of that. I think there's a guy wearing a hat in the front of this actually. So,
you just know that all the guys in that have just all gone deaf though.
Well, yeah, but frankly, it's almost worth going deaf for, isn't it? Really. And I remember there was a guy turned up. I think it was at Sun and Fun, Sebring. I can't remember. And there was a plan to refurb these and sell a whole load. And at one point, there was a whole row of them at Orlando Executive Airport, waiting for people to buy them and refurb them. And then one day they disappeared and it all went Pete Tong. So I guess that's never going to happen. But I reckon it's a nice little.
He's right. Dave White has reminded me that Cranfield Institute of Technology had a Paris jet at one time.
Wow.
There was one in the UK.
I didn't think there was one on the UK reg. That's interesting. I know that, wow. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Aaron P isn't playing the game. He's gone Global 6000. Aaron, you're a loser.
Okay.
So that just leaves me, and someone has already mentioned it in the comments. Jonathan, you are my hero. I have gone for the McDonnell 220. Check this baby out. If you're going for executive jet, you want something that looks like a small-time airliner. So what's a small-time airliner? Nothing better than a little 707. So this was McDonnell's effort. They came up with this. It was in competition to Johnny's Jetstar. Unfortunately, it lost. And it was probably on the basis that the jet engines sit about 6 inches above the pavement. So probably they do a brilliant job of hoovering aprons and gathering all the FOD up. But I just think that this thing is just fantastic. It could take 10 passengers in executive configuration, cruise at 490 knots at 38,000 feet. And I just love it because it looks like something that would have been in the Thunderbirds. It's just so absurd.
It looks incredible.
You can see this arriving somewhere and Lady Penelope getting out of it. It's just
they are not jet engines. They are warp drives from the Starship
from the Starship Enterprise. They certainly look like it, don't they? Amazingly. So there was only one aeroplane made, and this is still sat outside on a ramp somewhere in the States. It was donated to something. It was meant not to fly. It made one flight. And it's waiting for someone to come along and stick it in a museum. And I think they should. Actually, someone should restore it to flight.
Yeah, we should start a GoFundMe account and see if people will fund it for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Jonathan, I salute you for selecting my choice. And John Butt says it's definitely a Thunderbird bizjet. And Julian Treadwell says it's at El Paso. So I can see next time we're in the States, a side trip to El Paso is definitely going to be up. Aaron Lewington says, wasn't there a 4-seat Vampire conversion? I think there was. I'm not sure it ever flew. That would probably be even worse than Ian's Paris jet.
I mean, even worse.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Good. Well, I think having wrapped that one up as a win for the Paris jet, it's probably time for Dave's What's Been Cancelled This Week section.
Right. So what's been cancelled this week? Well, the big one is the Royal International Air Tattoo, RIAT. That's been cancelled for all the obvious reasons. And Helitech, which was going to be held in June, has been moved to the 5th and 6th of October. What is happening is that in March, on the 13th of March, Airability, brilliant organisers of events, Airability are holding the Armchair Aurora. Got it. I managed to say it. Right, the Armchair Aurora. This is a virtual event, and you know a bit about this event, don't you, Ed? With the Aurora.
I used to do one of their fundraising flights, fundraising exercises was to do this. They charter an airliner and they'd have some presenters. And I think they've had Brian Cox, the astronomer, before, but they go and they make a flight so that you can go and see the Aurora Borealis. You gave that to me so that I'd have to say that, didn't you? They would do that, but obviously in the post-COVID age, everything has to be virtual. So if you've got an interest in the Aurora Borealis and you want to support Airability, then this is a great way to do that.
Sit in your armchair and look at green things.
Yes.
That's it.
If you drink absinthe, isn't that supposed to bring up the green fairy or something? Isn't there something about absinthe?
I know nothing about this.
Oh, you'll know about that.
Yes, of course.
So there's one other event I'd just like to mention, which is it's in France at the last weekend of August, 27th and 29th of August. It's called the Aero Classic Flying. They're fairly ambitious in what they're going to be doing. It's at an airfield called Saint Rambert d'Albon, south of Lyon. So it's a fair way south, and in August that means it's going to be hot. But that sounds like a very nice event. All the details of these events, plus the ones that are cancelled and the ones that have been rescheduled, are all on the Flyer website in the events section. So over to you, Johnny, and the club.
Yes. Right. Well, so for the club members amongst you, I just wanted to let you know that the first 2 airfield briefing videos are now live on YouTube to accompany your free landing vouchers. But only club members get these vouchers. So we started off with Leicester. I spoke to the CFI there, Peter Green. And then the video released today was Oaksey Park. And I spoke to the airfield manager, Andrew Austin. And we talk about what it's like to join the airfield in terms of the circuit, what fuel facilities they have, what eating and drinking facilities they have, all that kind of thing. If you want to find out what's changed, what's coming up, what you really need to know about, then you need to watch those videos. But if you want the free landings to accompany the videos, you've got to join the Flyer Club. So head to flyer.co.uk and click the tab at the top that says Flyer Club. Now, following on from Greener's interview, Ultimate High recently, I think it was last year, launched their Top Gun experience. And it's flying air combat, aerobatics, tail chasing, all of that kind of thing in the T-67 Firefly. Now, club members get an exclusive 15% discount on that experience. So if you are a member and you want to find out more, sign in, go onto the website, log in, click on the member benefits section and you scroll down and there's more information about it there. If you're not a club member and you want to take part in that Top Gun experience, then you've got to join the club.
Absolutely.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Greeners, how many people have done the Top Gun experience so far?
Well, it's not quite as new as Johnny was suggesting. So 14,000 people have done it so far.
Ah, wow.
Yes, I think there's a word for that, isn't there?
It's a new and shinier version, and obviously we're delighted that Fly Club members can get a 15% discount. But yeah, it's a pretty popular product for. To be honest, a lot of people, most of the people do it are non-pilots, but a lot of PPLs come and have a go and actually use their airplane as a weapon rather than a way of getting a $100 hamburger.
Excellent. And I guess you're just waiting. It's because you came up with your promo video last year because of the pending launch of Top Gun, which they keep putting off.
Yes, it's we're hoping to help with some marketing for that as well, being the media tart that I was accused of earlier on by Mr. Seeger. But last I heard, is it a July date now? July 2021?
Maybe, yes. I think they should just get on and stick it out on the telly.
Yeah, stream it. That's what
stream it. That's the way forward, isn't it? So,
yeah, brilliant.
Very good. Right.
Well, I do believe we're coming to the end of the show, so it remains just for me to say thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Mark, for coming along and joining us and being so good. Thank you for doing so badly in the Wrong Stuff quiz. Thank you to Ed, Dave, and Johnny. We look forward to seeing you all next week. As a little thank you for, well, not a thank you, it's a little appeal. Hello, CAA. You may remember the last couple of weeks I've said, why don't you send someone along? Have a chat. We'll interview them. That offer still stands. Come on. It's not going to be rough. We're not going to have a go at you. Come and join us on the live stream. Answer a few questions. Tell us what jolly good chaps you are. Talk about drone regulation or something less contentious. Please, we'll be nice. Come and join us. That would be great to have you. Thank you very, very much, everyone. See you next week and have a great evening or what's left of it. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye,
everyone.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.